We're now live streaming. Thank you.
Andy, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March Board of Education meeting. Welcome, everyone. I want to start us off in a good way by recognizing and acknowledging both the Esquimalt and the Songhees nations on whose traditional territories we live, we learn, and we do our work. Trustees, may I have a mover to approve this evening's agenda? Thank you, Trustee Kwan, seconded by Trustee Mabobi. Any changes or amendments to the agenda? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of this evening's agenda with a show of hands. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, so we do have one set of minutes to approve this evening. These are the regular board meeting minutes. Pardon me, we have two sets of minutes. We have a regular board meeting set of minutes from the 26th of February. That's our first set. May I have a mover to approve those? Thank you, Trustee Kwan, and a seconder. Thank you, Trustee Mabobi. Any changes or amendments to that? I have one. So just under A7A, after what it would read after the word decision it would read after the work decision, it would read not to utilize SPLO from Oak Bay Police, Saanich Police, and the RCMP. So right now, I'm just going to clarify that. So right now on page 2 of the minutes. Sorry, folks, just bear with me. So on page 2 of those minutes under A7A, it would read after the word decision. The rest of the sentence would be deleted, and it would read not to utilize SPLOs from Oak Bay Police, Saanich Police, and the RCMP. It's just clarifying that. May I have a seconder? I'm happy to move that if I have a seconder. Thank you, Trustee Mabobi. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment to the minutes with a show of hands. And that is unanimous. All right, so now we have an amended set of minutes. Any further amendments to those minutes before I call the question? All right, all those in favor of the amended minutes with a show of hands. And that is unanimous. Thank you, folks. Okay, so now we have one more set of minutes this evening, and these are the special open board meeting minutes from the 29th of February. May I have a mover? Thank you, Trustee Mabobi, and a seconder. Thank you, Trustee Gagnon. Any changes or amendments to those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of the special open board meeting minutes with a show of hands. Trustee Painter, would you indicate your vote? Is it in favor? Yeah, okay, thank you. And that's in unanimous vote. Thanks, folks, appreciate that. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Not seeing any. Okay, so we don't have any student achievement district presentations this evening. We do have one community presentation in relation to the SPLO program. Starla Anderson is here with us this evening. Welcome, nice to see you. I'll just go over process. So presenting to the board, you have 5 minutes. I will be timing you, and apologies, I will interrupt you at the 1 minute mark, just to let you know you have 1 minute left to wrap up. So whenever you're ready, you may begin. Yeah, did you have a question? Oh, sorry, you're on mute.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
You start timing.
Please do.
So if I don't quite make it through, because sometimes I do a bit of ad-libbing, can I send you the full written statement?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Feel free. So I'll let you know when you've got a minute left, and then please do forward us anything you would like in writing.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, well, good evening. I haven't spoken at a SD61 meeting for many years, but it's very nice to see familiar faces and also new ones. That's a sign of a healthy democracy when things change at a governmental level. So that really makes me feel good. Now, some of you may have read my letter printed in the Times Colonist calling for the reinstatement of the school police liaison program, which I now understand has not been operating since 2018. I didn't know that when I wrote the letter, as Police Chief Del Mannix's appeal for the program to be reinstated had an urgent tone suggesting that this program had only been out of the school district for a few years, and I wondered if it had been since the start of the COVID pandemic that shut down the schools. I wondered if that had any relationship to this. Chair Nicole Duncan has informed me that the decision taken last year followed a review which took place over several years with representation from all stakeholders, including the Parent Advisory Committee. Parents are now lobbying to have this program reinstated along with the police department after not having the SPLOs in place for a number of years, and I support their arguments. Even understanding that you've had a unanimous decision not to reinstate it. Thank you for listening to me. Chair Duncan also informed me that, quote, the decision regarding whether to fund SPLO positions in the Victoria Police Department is not a decision that would be made by the Board of Education. I'm not clear whether this means that the Victoria Police Department would be totally responsible for the funding or whether or not that department would need to share the funding with the Board of Education or the municipalities that collect taxes for public school education. The funding formula needs to be clarified for the public so that interested citizens like myself understand whether the decision made to end this program has financial implications, or if, as the press has informed readers, that the decision was primarily made because of concern that, quote, some Indigenous and Black students feel uncomfortable with having police officers in their schools. My own lobbying as a community member with a lifelong commitment to quality public education has to do with the experience I had as a teacher working in Vancouver secondary schools and as a parent whose 4 children attended Vancouver schools from K through graduation. What I know is that the police officers who were chosen for this program were individuals who related easily with the teenagers in the secondary schools where I taught. At one school, I implemented a program for Musqueam youth who were challenged by literacy standards at the secondary level. None of these Indigenous students expressed any concern about having a police officer in the school. In fact, having an opportunity for one-on-one contact with a personable officer helped them to have confidence that help was available if needed. I also taught at a secondary school with a culture that was primarily South Asian and Chinese, both Canadian-born and immigrants. Seeing the police liaison officer in the cafeteria chatting with students in the mornings during break and at lunchtime in the hallways and cafeteria was reassuring. The officer also spent time in the alley outside of the school grounds where the smokers would congregate. His presence and interactions established his person and role as part of the school culture. There never were any difficulties regarding the police liaison officer's interactions brought up at staff meetings at either school.
You have 1 minute.
1 minute?
No. Goes so quickly, I know.
Okay, well then I'll just tell this one little anecdote. During a recent conversation with a 12-year-old friend who attends middle school in the Greater Victoria School District, she was telling me about her love for the music program and about the social culture of the school. Without prompting from me or her mother how the cool kids smoked and vaped in the woods. Of course, her mother cautioned her about avoiding that scene, and I backed her up. Today, I'm wondering which district employees might have the responsibility to scatter these middle school cool kids, knowing that they are smoking and vaping underage and influencing other youth. I believe that a police liaison would address this situation very quickly. And a community member can only inform the district about what I was told by a 12-year-old. I will send the rest of my presentation to you. There's one more page I didn't get to.
Sounds good. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it. It's good to see you. Take good care. Good night. Okay, trustees, we have one piece of correspondence under B1. Would anyone like to pull that for discussion? All right, so the next item then is my chair's report. You'll see that under C1A. Did anyone have any questions in relation to the report this month? Okay, you also see the board annual work plan at C1B. And that will be the work plan for your information, what to expect in the coming month. Does anyone have any questions about the board work plan? Okay. Seeing no questions, then we have no trustee reports this month. We do have a board committee report this month under D1 of the agenda. You'll see that it was a combined ed policy and directions meeting. The meeting minutes are there in draft for information only, and there were no recommended motions arising from our standing committees this month. That leads us to our district leadership team reports. The first report under E1 is the superintendent's report. Superintendent Whitten, did you want to present your monthly report?
Thank you, through the chair. I think what I will just pull out there is the gratitude section. We've had a lot of work with the information technology for learning as they work through ensuring that our system remains up to date and secure. So I wanted to thank them. They have monthly and weekly updates that happen. And also on behalf of the senior leadership team, want to thank Secretary Treasurer Stride, Associate Secretary Treasurer Lutner, and Financial Services Department as a whole for their work on preparing the 2024-25 budget, which included the talking tables last week. So many thanks to them for all of their work in pulling information. And just a note that we do have the public open budget board meeting on Thursday at Spectrum.
Thank you, Superintendent Whitten. Trustees, do we have any questions for the superintendent in relation to her monthly report? Right, may I have a mover to move the superintendent's monthly report for receipt by the board? Thank you, Trustee Mabobi, seconded by Trustee Gagnon. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of receiving the superintendent's monthly report? With a show of hands, all those, oh, thank you, that's unanimous. Thanks, folks. Okay, so we are now at E1B of our agenda, and this is the Victoria International Education Program fees for 2024-2025. We do also have a recommended motion that the Board of Education of School District number 61, Greater Victoria, approve the 2024-2025 Victoria International Education Program fees. I believe, yes, we do. We do have the benefit of Director Davis's presence this evening. Director Davis, is there anything that you wanted to highlight from your recommendation to the board this evening?
Thank you for having me tonight, Chair. No, just the proposed changes to program fees. Just you can see in the memo that there's some background to the rationale for the changes. Including many of these fees have not been changed for quite some time. You can see homestay placement fee, the first time since 2005, the application fee as well. Homestay monitoring fee will increase for the first time since 2014. And the full year tuition fee for 24-25, you can see there's applications coming before April 1st will be at the rates indicated, and then applications coming after April 1st with a separate rate.
Yeah, no, thanks very much. Appreciate that. Okay, trustees, we have a recommended motion. I first want to just open it up to our partners if they did have anything that they wanted to contribute before I ask for a trustee to consider moving it. Okay, trustees, would someone like to move the recommended motion? Thank you, trustee Gagnon, seconded by trustee Mabobi. Any discussions in relation to the recommendations? And again, this is to increase the fees and also the tuition. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the recommended motion? And that is unanimous. Thank you, trustees, and thank you, Director Davis, for being here to present your recommendations to us. We appreciate it. It's nice to see you. We hope you enjoy the spring break.
Thank you very much. As always, thank you for having me.
Take care.
Take care.
So trustees, we are now at trustee questions at E1C. And so this is the opportunity for trustees. If you do have any questions for staff, now is the time to raise them. So trustees, any questions? Okay, don't see any hands. Okay, so that is, well, that leads us to E2, which is the Secretary Treasurer's report. And again, this is the Secretary Treasurer's monthly report. There is a recommended motion. I will first, though, turn the floor over to the Secretary Treasurer. Go ahead when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I've included a summary of some of the activities and meetings since the last board meeting that was on February 26th. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. Trustees, do you have any questions for the Secretary Treasurer in relation to her monthly report? Secretary Treasurer, thank you very much. I'm going to ask my colleagues for a mover to receive the Secretary Treasurer's monthly report. Thank you, trustee Mabobi, seconded by trustee McNally. Any discussion? Okay, I don't see any, so I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of receiving the report from the Secretary Treasurer? And that is unanimous. Thank you, folks. Okay, so that leads us now to question period, F of our agenda. I'm going to turn to staff. Do we have any questions under question period?
Through the chair, no, there are no questions at this time in question period.
Thank you very much, Associate Superintendent Arts. Appreciate it. All right, so that was very, very quick. I don't think we have any public disclosures of in-camera items this evening. We do, under the next part of our agenda, have a number of section 72 reports. Any new business, trustees, or notice of motions? Not seeing any. Well, then I will, before calling for a motion to adjourn, I just want to take the opportunity. This is our last meeting, public meeting before the spring break. So just on behalf of the board, we wish you all a very happy, safe and restful spring break. We hope the weather cooperates and that you have a wonderful time with your families and friends. Trustees, may I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you, trustee Gagnon, and seconded by trustee Mabobi. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? And that